Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Dr. Ruth Anderson and Sue Broome here today, here with Enlightened World Network. And we are bringing you messages from your loved ones today. So I would love to have you enter information into the Facebook Messenger, the Facebook chat, and we will be able to see that. First, I need to find Restream. Here we go. Let me get where I can see the messages as they come in. And we're going to give a minute for folks to join us. This is one of my favorite shows that we do, Sue. This is just so fun.
I thoroughly enjoy this as well, Miss Ruth. And I know, I'll tell you, what are they doing? There's something, my dad's been coming in a lot, and I see my dad through numbers, but I know what it was, my mom this morning, again, through numbers. Numbers are just so they just resonate with me. But you know how you can set up on your phone, you can set up an alarm to go off. Mm-hmm. And so I have an alarm set a little bit before, and then I always push the snooze. And I, let the snooze go. Well, I had my phone in hand because I knew it was getting close, and I'm looking, and the time left on the snooze timer was 6 minutes and 42 seconds, which is my mom. And
now, why is 6:42 your mom?
June of 1942 was when she was born. So when I see, and the day is 14. So if I see a 6:14, that resonates with my mom for me. And if I see a 6:42, that resonates with me.
And my mom is 9/12.
Is 9/12?
9/12, because she was born in September, the 12th day.
Yep.
So when I see 9/12, I think of my mom.
Yep. So that's how, and my dad is 3/12 or 3/38 because he was born the 12th in 1938. And there's something in the Zoom information for this particular, and I think it's the same one that you guys use for everything, but there's something that has a 3/12. And the way I had the screen, I had just off to the edge of another screen, so all I could see was the 3/12. So every time I looked at my screen, I would see the 3/12. See, and there go the chimes. So perfect.
That is perfect. Okay.
Just love it when a plan comes together. So I think I shared it a couple different places, so we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
So Zoom is being particularly funny with me today. I can either see you or the messages, but I can't see both.
Well, and it's weird because I know when I pulled, when it kicked in, it was like a really big screen. It wasn't full screen, but it was really big. And it's like, okay, normally it's not this big. So I had to squish it down. So I agree. Zoom is acting.
Yeah. We couldn't get it to work yesterday morning at all.
Really?
At all. No. And we were wondering, gosh, is this part of the Lionsgate thing or what is this?
There's definitely a lot of intense energy. And it's so funny. I was listening to this one woman. She's talking about, and I've been talking for the last few weeks, if something triggers you, don't respond or don't react, but respond. And that response may be a minute from now, it may be an hour from now, it may be next week. It's entirely up to you, but don't react. And she was saying something similar, but the way she was saying it, it was so cool. It was like, okay, imagine that you are this, and I'm getting chills, you are a lion walking down the street or walking down a path. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter what people are trying to trigger you with. You're just walking. in your own power. And it's like, wow, I like that.
Yeah, we do like that. So Carmen Hansen is joining us now. You haven't, oh, yay. You haven't met Carmen yet. Carmen is joining us beginning of September as a new host. She and Sharon Karn. Yeah, she and Sharon Karn are coming on together. They're going to be doing 2 shows, one the second Wednesday of the month, and it's about being an empath and working with it, enjoying it, rather than, sometimes people think they're a victim of it. And then the 4th Wednesday of the month, it's animal communication that has, she's a really amazing animal reader. And then she works with the energy and provides healing and transformation. She did that with my dogs. And so that's starting in September. I'm excited about that. So she would like to hear, because now I have to keep going back to this page so I can't see you when I do that. Carmen would love to hear from her Auntie Agnes.
Well, welcome, Miss Carmen. And let's see what Auntie Agnes has to say. I have to sit up a little bit. Okay. I have to look at the card first because sometimes it looks backwards on the screen. Ooh, I love this. I feel your prayers of love. And I love this because it reminds people, it reminds all of us that, you know what, they on the other side, when they are in their dimension and we're in ours, they can pick up that loving energy. Or they can pick up, when we're talking with them. And the prayers of love, it's like that's what we want for everyone, the love essence. And so they can feel that, they can hear that, and it also says to me to talk to them, have conversations with them. I have conversations with people on the other side all the time. And it's like, I just feel like it's just kind of my normal existence. That's just having a conversation. I'll ask a question, and I live by myself, so I usually ask out loud, but I'll ask a question and I will get a response, and I'll respond in kind, so perfect. I love this card. I feel your prayers of love. So Miss Ruth.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So Carmen, this is so funny because Auntie Agnes, I just keep being shown food, but it's not all food. So it's not like every time you saw Auntie Agnes, she cooked this huge spread. There's a particular food that Auntie Agnes really loved. And I don't know what it is, but when you have that particular food, it makes you think of her because that was her favorite or her specialty, whatever that was. So I'll be curious to hear, Carmen, if there's something about Auntie Agnes in any particular kind of food.
That will be. That is funny, but it's true because a lot of times, and you think about the scent, the aroma from food, that so many times it's like, oh, if I smell cinnamon spice, it makes me think of cooking, or baking cookies with grandma, things like that. So tea.
Carmen said it was tea.
Tea.
But I'm also seeing eating something, Carmen. So I don't know if it was like a kind of cookie or a something to go with that tea. Interesting. So Sue, I have to tell you, I am wearing my mother's. Oh, Carmen said, we were young and that was very cool that we got tea.
So that was a real special time, a real special bond.
A bonding time. That's sweet. And Mucker and wife are
Which is on. Sherry. Her name is Sherry.
Oh, Sherry. It says Mucker and wife.
Okay. Yeah, that's her her combined account. It's Sherry.
Oh, got it. Okay. And Sherry's not asking for anything. Carmen says that Auntie Agnes was an awesome cookie maker. There we go.
Perfect.
I'll take it.
And tea and crumpets are cookies.
There we go. And Luz Orsini is on. She says, hello, namaste. If any of you would like a message from a loved one, please just write that in, because that's what we do. So as I was getting ready to do this with you this morning, Sue, I heard, wear your mother's jacket. I thought, okay, so I am wearing my mother's jacket, thinking about my mom today. I can actually kind of feel her here right next to me. And then I was thinking about your mom, Sue, and I think it's Mother's Day here. Just bring it on the moms.
Absolutely. You know,
Yes.
and I don't have any clothes for my mom. However, I do have some earrings. So every once in a while, it's like, and can you hear them today?
Yes.
There's one pair in particular, keeping in mind that these earrings were from the 70s, okay? And they still are very, very in style. They just look real bright and shiny and bangly. Just the kind of style I like to wear.
That is fun. Yeah, I was really feeling your mom earlier. And then I'm just remembering, this is interesting. I have my mother's wedding ring. It's not her original wedding ring. They had been married, I'm guessing around 40 years when she decided for some reason to put the diamond ring away and have a different ring made. So I have that ring. I've only had it about a week and it's kind of big. It's thick for on my hand. So I'm thinking about getting it cut down into 3. So my daughters can each have a piece and I'll have a piece. So I'm channeling my mother here today because I've got her ring and I've got her jacket on.
That's very cool.
It is cool. So, okay, Joanne McCann New would like a message, please. And she's not saying it's from anybody in particular, but Joanne McCann New.
All right, let's see what we get from Miss Joanne. Yeah, I have my mom's mother's ring. So it's got a diamond and then it's got a little stone for each of the 5 kids.
Aw.
And I used to wear it all the time. I don't anymore. I don't wear a lot of rings anymore.
Yeah.
But I still have it. Every once in a while I'll wear it. And it doesn't fit on the same finger that it used to. I don't know what that says about my fingers, but
Yeah, I got that same message myself.
All right, Joanne, let's see what we got. Ooh. All right, Joanne. Trust in yourself. I do. And that is such a powerful message. So, and I'm feeling like Miss Joanne, I think you really need to breathe that in and wow, I feel like it's connecting with all of the love, all of the unseen love, all of the unseen ones, you know, the divine, your loved ones that are on the other side, your guides, your angels, your higher self. I feel like there's this huge connection that is there and you can recognize it at sometimes, but you don't feel like it's there all the time, and it is. So I'm almost getting the feeling like it's like, okay, trust in that connection because it's always there. And this is encouragement to trust when you get something, when you feel something, when you're noticing something, trust in that, trust in yourself. Wow, very powerful.
That is powerful. And I'm being asked to share 2 things here. One is, well, I don't even really know in what order to do it. So, Joanne, when I just sort of sat in that energy, I immediately got this beautiful, vibrant sun. And I had just gotten off from doing the meditation a day with Chris Kucherin here on Enlightened World Network. And his meditation was about joy. One point in this meditation, he said to just sit in that space of joy and just really let it in. And so I was in meditation and I saw me dancing with Divine Mother and the archangels. And it was so much fun. I mean, like tears were coming to my eyes because it was so much fun. And then we sat down at this table and we work with thousands of angels, earth angels, and they all came in and sat down with us. And I thought, oh, this would be so nice to be served. I don't know what I thought we should be served or who I thought would do it. And then I was shown the sun, gorgeous sun, the same sun that I just saw for you. And the words I heard, I want to make sure I get it right. I was told that the sun shining every day is God serving us. God's serving us love and light. And every time we see the sun, just to bask in that knowledge that that is a gift of love and light from the Creator. And the other message that I got this morning was in my own meditation. And it was about how we are never separate from the Creator. And this was from Archangel Michael. And he said, in the same way that your son or daughter, Sue, I'm clearing my throat chakra. What is that? Wow, that's weird. In the same way that your son or daughter cannot remove your DNA from their cellular structure, you cannot separate yourself from the very God who created you. You are a spark of the divine, and the divine is in you. You couldn't be separate if you tried. And so when I see that sun for you, and Sue, you had said something about, always feeling them with you. It's because you can't be separate from them.
Right.
We are one. They're part of you. You can't be separate.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so Luz is wanting to hear something from her parents.
I have to say, Ruth, that's a very powerful message, and I hope everyone is really, really feeling that and listening with not only your ears, but with your heart and soul, because that was such a powerful message that Ruth was sharing. It's interesting that you were clearing your throat chakra with that as well, because I know it's not like I feel like it was a difficult message for you to say. However, I think it was a powerful message for people to hear. And okay, got it. And you clearing your throat in the message also allowed people to pay attention closer.
Oh, sure. Huh. Interesting.
All right. Luz's parents.
Luz's parents.
Let's see what we get. I always love it when the cards just show themselves.
So are you doing each parent separate, or are you doing a combo?
Do you want me to do each separate?
I'm getting a combo, like they're sitting there. They're so.
That's what I was getting at first as well. So okay, so here's the combo. Ooh, I send butterflies to you, and this feels like there's such a connection. Maybe your parents had a connection with getting you out in nature, because I feel like it's not just butterflies, but it's looking at the amazement, the, like a child. I could see this child, holding a butterfly, where the butterfly sits on your finger and just looking at it in amazement, and it's, slowly moving its wings. And I think the connection, it's like the connection that you have is such a childlike, open connection, that you can see the amazement when you see a butterfly, when you notice a moth, those little moths that move faster and quicker, and actually two of them just went by really fast, which I don't usually, I've just been seeing them just the last week or so. But when you're outside and you hear the birds, or you notice the chattering of the squirrels, or you're listening to the crickets, all of these things are connections that can take you right back to when you were a child, whether it's walking outside in the dark, listening to the sounds, looking up the stars, or going for a walk in the afternoon when the sun is out bright and you can see all the amazement of what is all there. So I feel like notice the butterflies. I think there's something absolutely specific about butterflies, but open beyond to the expansiveness that more is there. So
I am getting that your parents adore you. Absolutely adore you. I don't know, Luz, if you were an only child or the favorite, or maybe all the kids in the family got that kind of love and attention. But what they're showing me is a triangle. Mom on one side, dad on the other, and you down in the crux of it. And they adore you. It is so sweet to see that kind of love. And I actually drew a butterfly because I was curious about the shape of a butterfly. Stop it. And the butterfly that I drew, it actually fits really nicely into a triangle shape, because the big wings on top are bigger than the bottom ones, if that makes sense. Well, at least on my badly drawn butterfly. But there's something about the triangle shape with you being the center of their attention, and that being symbolized in the butterflies. So you are so loved, so loved. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Everybody should be lucky to be loved in the way that you were. And, I don't always know that. I mean, I know it's true. Parents don't always show how much they're loving their kids. And maybe your parents did show you that kind of love, but even if they didn't, that love was there for you, because it's immense now. So I can only imagine.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Lovely. And Joanne said that she had been doubting. She had tried to connect to unicorn energy and said out loud halfway through, "If you're real, send me a message."
I love it.
Then she got, it sounds like, a knock at the door maybe, but nobody was there. But a unicorn diary that I had never noticed before, and the sun I love. I've been able to look straight at it lately. We don't recommend that without blinding my eyes. Thank you, ladies. Yes, don't do that, Joanne. Don't look directly at the sun. And Lou says, yes, thanks so much. I was the third child. I've never seen that love, but I knew it was always there. It was absolutely there, Luz.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I can I share something on the sun?
Yeah.
So there is something called sun gazing. And I know like this much about it, but it has to do with like the first couple minutes when the sun is coming up, and then the last couple minutes of when it's going down. And the thing that I find interesting about it, I've heard about it, I don't do it because there's too many houses and blah, blah, blah. But the bunnies do it. And I have seen them do this. I mean, even this morning, there's two of them. And it's like they will sit there not moving for 10, 15 minutes facing the direction of where the sun is going to come. And sometimes it's not above the trees and the houses yet, but they must be getting enough because it's up, even though they might not getting it on them. And there's different ones. So I saw two this morning in my yard. There was another one in the neighbor's yard, and they're all facing the same direction. And they will sit there so still looking at the sun. And it's just kind of a weird angle. And I see it so often that I know that that's what they're doing. It's like, oh, they're getting their vitamin D. And in the winter time, there's one that would do it at my neighbor's yard almost every morning. He would, and this was, you could clearly see the sun hitting him, but he would have his back to the sun. So it was like the sun was, I felt like it was absorbing into his spine. So anyway.
A little sun worship going on there.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. It's interesting. Animals know. I mean, they know.
They do know. That's beautiful. Okay, so I would love a reading from our friend Linda. So our friend Linda Dirks passed away here July 10th. And I've gotten little bits from her, but just wondering if there's something. She has been really instrumental in some growth that we're doing, not through Enlightened World Network, but folks that are on Enlightened World Network. And it's to help support folks with end of life. And I would lovingly say it's Linda's fault. And she would like that we would go on and expand what we're doing, being prodded by her. And this is prodding by her. So I would love to know, is there something from Linda Dirks there?
You're going to laugh. Hear the chimes. So it's interesting because now I show you this card and they're pretty quiet over there.
Yeah, they are right now.
Yes, they're quite quiet. But, and especially for those that may not be aware, my chimes go off when spirit is guiding them. And it's funny how they will chime in. And sometimes whether it's a little chime or a longer chime, depending on what the conversation is going on. And of course, I feel like, yes, this is pay attention to the chimes around you, but it is pay attention to, the chiming in of people, the chiming in of the noises that you notice, because sometimes it's like, oh, that's the first time I've heard that clock ticking, maybe you haven't noticed it at all. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, why is that so loud today? Notice those things. See, and there go the chimes. Or if you're at a table, sometimes if you're at a table or doing something and you're in a conversation with whoever, and you're really oblivious to everything that's going on around you, but then all of a sudden you pick up something. It's like, notice those things as well.
Yep.
So
thank you. I love that. And one of the things that she used to say, if we were talking about a project or whatever, she would say either I'm getting a ping with that or I'm getting a thud with that. And she was talking about how that hit her energetically. And if it was a ping, then it was like, yep, go with it. And if it was a thud, it meant it was heavy energy and sluggish, and it just wasn't quite right. So I'm hearing that too. Hear the chimes. So focus in on the pings. When you're getting the pings, move forward with it.
Yeah, and there's you think about a friend of mine. There was something. Does it feel light or heavy? I think it was just basic like that. It's like, well, how does it feel? Does it feel light or does it heavy? Does it feel heavy? And it's like that. It feels like it's the same essence. As in, yeah, it feels light. It feels like there's no obstacles, whereas heavy might feel like, oh yeah, there's a boulder in the road.
Right, right. You sure you want to do that? Because that's not
Mhm.
feeling quite in alignment there. Yep. And then I would love, Sue, I would love our moms to work together and send a message, because we're definitely sitting in mom energy. And I will tell you all, folks, when my mother passed, the beautiful folks with Enlightened World Network did a prayerful meeting with me, holding my mom in space while she was passing. And their moms all showed up in spirit. And Sue's mom showed up in spirit. And it was the most beautiful passing that I could have wanted for her, because she was surrounded not only with the souls that she knew, but she was surrounded with the souls that I know the offspring of. And the moms, the power of the moms was so amazing. So I'm feeling our moms here together. They obviously know each other.
So, and I have the card sitting here, I haven't looked yet, but as you're talking, because I remember that day, I was sitting right outside and I'm getting major chills right now. And it feels like all of our moms that were there with you and your mom, but they were there because they understand the birth process to the other side.
Mm.
And that's what they were doing, is they were helping her birth to the other side, because we see it as a death. They don't. It's the birth to another dimension. And that's,
Yeah.
and hey, they have experience with that. We don't.
Right.
Not yet, because we haven't birthed to the other side. We may have been around people that have done that, but we haven't experienced it ourselves. So,
Right. Yeah, it was beautiful. I felt so loved and supported, and my mom was so loved and supported. It was so beautiful. So, and birthing to the other side, I love that phrase.
yeah. Okay. So let's see what you're never alone. And
Mm.
the other thing that was coming to me from that day as you were re-experiencing it is, we in the human form were even though we were not with you in the same room, I felt like I was there. And so we were offering you that love and support, as our moms were offering your mom that love and support. It was all there, and almost like we were reaching out and touching you in support, letting you know that you aren't alone. We are with you, whether we're standing right next to you or not. And I think that's such a message that people forget. And I've talked about this just in the last couple of weeks. I know that this was brought up in one of the Facebook lives, is like, you are never alone. You always have support, whether it's someone on the other side, whether you're in a room full of people, because people can feel lonely in a room full of people.
Right.
But you're never alone. And going back to what you had said before about that connection that is always there. So you are never alone.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, moms. Aw.
Yeah, thank you,
That's so
moms. That's
cool.
right.
And I loved the chimes with that. Joanne said, we lost six family members through lockdown. So I would not know who to ask for, as I wouldn't want to leave anyone out. Strange how each grief is different for the individual person. Is that normal?
I personally, I believe it is. And the reason I say that is because you have such a different relationship with people. You think about your relationship with your mom versus a relationship with your sister versus a relationship with your spouse. It's a very different relationship here in the 3D. So the grieving process is going to be different, even though grief yes, they say that you go through the different stages, and there are some similarities. There's a thread, but it feels very different. However, saying that, just like Ruth's mom, my mom, can come through as a message, and there was the message from Luz's parents before coming through together. I think that even though there was several people that transitioned just recently, I think that their energy can come through as a message, because it's really the message that they want to transfer to you, that they want to translate, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I'm having fun watching, because as I was keying in on them, it looks like 5 of them tend to hang out together, and one of them doesn't hang out with them so much, but is having a blast doing what he or she is doing. It's funny how that energy kind of comes in. So then when you said they could come in together and share one message, it's like I was watching them go, come on in, we're gonna leave a message for Joanne. So they are close, and I think they can do a message for you together. So Sue, what are you getting?
So I haven't flipped it yet, but I want to. Wow, gone. It'll come back. That's, oh, I know what it was. The 5 and the 1. So just because we're on the other side doesn't mean we stop learning. And so these 5 may have something that they need to learn together on the other side, whereas this one is like, yeah, been there, done that. They're going off and doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Or, whatever it is. So, okay. And who, this is for this is Joanne's. Okay. Oh my God, how perfect. There's a healing of our hearts. Oh my gosh. And so do you guys see how the conversation, I didn't know what the card was until I flipped it over, but it's so interesting to me how the conversation that happens even before we flip the card goes into making more sense of the card, of the message in the card. So I've heard of people when they transition, that depending on what was going on in their life when they were here, they may be in, some people have called it angel hospital, kind of recuperating their soul. Yeah. And I know that my brother, who passed just over a year ago, so this may sound weird to some people, but his trailer blew up. Basically, it blew up. There was a fire. And as I was talking to a friend just, the couple days afterwards, and it's like, he went out with a bang. that's how he would have wanted to go out, because people said they couldn't get close to the trailer because there were bullets that were still, shooting off. And he had oxygen tanks, and he had propane tanks, so if there's a big fire, there's things exploding. And that was so him. He was so happy with how he went out with a bang. And my dad was laughing because it's like, good one. I wish I would have thought of that.
Right. Wow.
So when people go out, how they go out, it doesn't necessarily matter how they go out from our perspective. It's their healing. It's on their terms, how they go out. And I think the healing of the hearts is not only them coming together on the other side, but I also feel that them all coming together to send you this message that, hey, we're all okay. Just chill. Just allow yourself to feel that love. And grief is one of those things where when you start sharing the stories, the fun stories about your loved ones, the times that you shared with them, that is what heals the heart. That is what allows that love connection to grow and the grief to start falling apart, even though it's always there. But the love is the connection, not the grief.
Oh, that's quite profound there, Sue Broome. That's beautiful. The love is the connection, not the grief. Yeah. Well, and that makes sense too, why the grief, as you said, why the grief is different for each one of them, because the love connection was different for each one of them. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. And Joanne said that her cousin James, who is one of the six, came to her in a dream and explained he was going to be traveling.
Busy bee.
We'll take it. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, I love this. So Ward Barkafer, I think maybe I had spoken with you all about Ward Barkafer before. His wife, Suzette, passed, and then she comes to him all the time. And he writes about what she's experiencing. He's compiled 3 books now, and you can find them on Amazon. But she talks about the different levels that folks live in and how they get to design their own home and they get to live with who they want to. And they can have mountains, they can have desert, they can have both. You know, it's possibilities, just immense possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's so much more that we get to learn about all this. So I don't think we've got any other requests here.
It's interesting because heaven and hell is truly all in our making. Because, you know, you can take 2 people living in the same exact experience and they see it so differently. Some might say, one of them might look at it, oh my gosh, that's horrible. And one might look at it and say, wow, that was such a learning experience. Look at all I learned, you know. Right. So yes, our heaven and our hell is all that we make of it here, as well as on the other side. Because if you have a belief that I'm going to hell because of something I did, and it's going to be horrible, that very well may be what you are living through until you realize it's like, wow, I can change what I want to experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is really amazing. And yeah, that we're all learning. That is for sure.
Right. I'm just reminded of a message that I had heard at one point, which is, you don't have to believe what you think. It's like,
right.
Oh, you're right. I don't. I can shift this. I don't have to have that be my reality.
Right. And, you know, even just looking at, because like my beliefs, how they've shifted about death. You know, when I was a kid, somebody died, they went in the ground, and, you know, I don't remember my family talking about my brother. You know, my brother died when he was 4. I don't remember having a lot of conversations about him. You know, after that, I don't remember having a lot of conversations about my mom. Not within my immediate family. You know, other people would say different things. But so it's interesting, even how long it took me to even feel like, well, that it feels very different. Not that I never felt like she was, or my brother, you know, for that matter. You know how some people will always visit the grave site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I went to the grave site one time, and that was at my mom's 30-year anniversary of when she transitioned. And I went and I spent the day doing things that she would take us kids to do, you know, so different places. And then I met my brother, Steve, that passed away last year. I met him at the gravesite because he knew how to get there. I didn't even know how to get there. And he and I had a really great conversation, but it was interesting And looking back, the reason that we went there was more for his healing than anything to do with me, because of the conversation that we happened and that we had. And that was also the day that I realized how much turmoil and grief and just self-hatred and anger that he had within him about stuff that happened like, 40 years before. So very interesting.
It is interesting. So, we talk about end of life stuff, and we've been talking a lot about end of life stuff as we're looking at coming up with this new format. And Joanne says, I think death should be spoken of a lot more as it is part of living. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And we've had the conversation here in my household of where do you want your ashes? And I had always thought I wanted to be on Redlands Mesa, which is this, I don't know why I thought that at the time. It is a mesa out in the middle of the desert. Sue loves the desert. But there's nothing out. I mean, there's nothing out there. And I used to think that that was where I wanted to be. And then I have realized where I really want it to be on Matticat Island off of Massachusetts. I am absolutely called to that place. I have seen past lives there. I have had amazing spiritual experiences there. That's where I want my ashes to be. And my family's going, okay. I don't see my family as really the kind to go visit the ashes, just sort of not their thing. But I think for every person, it really just needs to be so individualized and not the assumption, oh, you're going in the family crypt with the rest of us, because maybe that's not what rings true for you anymore.
Right.
Sue, are you a bury me in the ground, or are you a sprinkle my ashes, or what are you? What do you
burn me up and do whatever you want with those ashes? I don't care. I don't have a place that I feel so connected to that, and I definitely do not want to be buried in the ground. Yeah, but cremation to me, it's like, it's a physical body. I won't be there anyway, so I won't be feeling the heat.
No. And no sense in my mind taking up space underground,
right,
and spending all that money for it. But that's just my my personal opinion.
Well, and who knows that maybe there's even something beyond what we know, that it's like, okay, you're fully out of that 3D version of you, that it's like, okay, the body can just disintegrate and be gone. Because, I think that there's the belief around having the body, having an open casket, or in some beliefs, even a long time ago, they had the body in the dining room for a week or something. Mm-hmm. But it's the belief at that time. I think we've evolved so much, and people do feel differently. And I think talking about death, I think will also allow people to come to their own conclusions, or different conclusions than, wow, that's what my family has always thought. But wow, when you're saying that, it feels differently to me. It feels much lighter than the heaviness of what they believe. So,
right.
Yeah.
One of the things that Linda taught us so beautifully is that death does not have to be something to be feared. Right. Death can actually be something to be excited about. And she was excited about it. Granted, staying in her body was no longer an option for her with her stage 4 lung cancer, but she wasn't afraid to die. And with Vermont's dignity, Right to Die, Death with Dignity Act, I think is what it's called, she was able to get the medication required to end her life on her terms. She was so excited about it And I spoke with her the morning that she did it. We actually had a little ceremony for her, and then she did it. So she was with us minutes before she did what she needed to do to end her life. But what she taught us was that death is the transition from one learning environment to another. It was a graduation, and it was okay to celebrate that with her.
Yep. And it is a celebration, like we were talking before. It's, our moms know how to birth to the other side. And when there's a birth, what do people do? They celebrate. So
Exactly.
celebration of life is, and it's, it doesn't have to be a one-time thing. Celebrate the life that you are in and that you are in partnership with the people that you know. Celebrate that every day, because every day is a celebration of life.
Exactly. So Joanne's got a couple thoughts, and so does Sherry. So Sherry said, what an amazing lady. And she was an amazing lady. Absolutely. Taught us on her way out the door. And Joanne says, I keep thinking if we as a collective got together and embodied no more death, I think we could change that. I think we could change that, as we are creative and the power of prayer is so powerful. We are gifted after all. Humans could then change a lot on earth. Unity is one mind, one heart. She says, or am I just wishful thinking? I have the weirdest thoughts. You're not wishful thinking.
So I had to go look up the word death in the dictionary. And it says the action or fact of dying or being killed, the end of the life of a person or organism. And it is interesting because we have such a, we see death, even the terms, at death's door. Well, that sounds scary, or the angel of death.
The Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper. Oh my gosh. And it's like, yeah, they're all these scary Halloween-y kind of things.
Right.
And yeah, if we change that word to something different, it would be so much more joyful.
Right.
It could be so much more joyful.
Well, and revolutionizing the death process, the death industry.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, you know what? Yes. If you have an illness, obviously it's a little bit more cut and dry, you can kind of see, but it's like, you know what? We're all dying every day.
Right. We're all closer to death than we are to birth. So
some of us, yeah.
Exactly right.
See, and there go the chimes.
Sense of humor. And so Tammy Hill is saying, I'm here, but I'm late. We're glad you're here, Tammy Hill.
Well, and I'll tell you, Tammy, there's so many different lessons that came out of this, so many powerful messages that it's definitely going to be one to watch the recording of it when it's done.
Absolutely. Well, our time is up here. Thank you so much, ladies that showed up. Sherry, Joanne, Carmen, Tammy, we're so glad you're here. This was really a great session today. And thanks to two beautiful mothers who showed up, Sue's and mine. And Sue, thank you. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Ms. Ruth. I always look forward to these times that we spend together. So, and thank you everyone for joining in live, and thank your loved ones for joining the party.
They did a good job today.
They sure did.
They did. Yeah, they absolutely did. So friends, thank you for being here. We look forward to doing this with you next month. And what day is that, Sue?
Let's see. September 13.
September 13. All right. Same time and same place. So friends, take good care. God bless. And remember, your loved ones are always with you. So just take a little breath and listen in. See if you can hear the messages. And we'll see you soon.